Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of Joy News Today in the year 2017. My name is Benis Abubeidu and our headlines: Member of Parliament for Agona East, Madam Quinsta Sawyer, sues an NDC supporter for defamation in connection with the party's defeat in the just-ended general election. And following tension in the Odododio constituency in the lead to the December elections, which threatened the peace of the area, Member of Parliament for that area, Ni Lante Vanderpoy, says the two political parties involved in the skirmishes will be holding a joint Thanksgiving service to maintain the peace in the area. And former Chief Executive of Ghana Chamber of Mines and now Executive Director of the Salt and Light Ministries, Dr. Joyce Ayi, calls for a review of the Constitution on the Free Community Day Senior High Schools currently underway by the outgoing administration. And in sports, Avram Grant names provisional 26-man squad for Gabon 2017. The details shortly. Please don't go away. Now to our very first story. The Member of Parliament for Agona East has sued an NDC supporter at the Agona Swedru High Court for defamation. According to the MP Quinsta Pokua Sawyer, the supporter stated emphatically on a WhatsApp chat group that she, the MP, and the regional chairman of the party, Ben Alote Jacobs, were given monies and other resources for the campaign in the central region, but the two failed to release the monies and resources for the campaign, hence the abysmal performance of the NDC in the central region. My colleague Richard Kodunyaku joins us on the phone with more. Hello, Richard. Hi, Richard. Hello, Richard. If you can hear me, a very happy new year to you. And who is this individual that Madam Sawyer is suing? Well, we seem to have challenges. We'll get back to Richard for some details of that particular story. Meanwhile, the tension that characterized campaigns in the Odododio constituency in the Greater Accra region during the build-up to last year's election got many worried about the peace in that electoral area. This was mostly instigated by clashes between MPP and NDC supporters ahead of the December polls. The story is different now as the MP for the constituency, Ni Lante Vanderpoy, says his campaign team intends to hold a joint Thanksgiving service with the opposition MPP to promote and maintain the existing peace in the area. He spoke to Mamavi Owusu-Abuaje earlier on the AM show.
Well, it is my hope and prayer that all of us will put elections behind us and get together as a family. That's what we're used to. This is a place where you can see two people fighting today, and the next moment you see them sitting down eating together. We are passionate about things, so sometimes our passion and emotions sometimes go overboard a little, but I can say that we also always accept the fact that we are a family. The whole of this place is one unit of a family, because as soon as you mention your name, people know where you're coming from, and one family is related to the other. It doesn't really matter which quarter of the area you come from, either Gbese, Sempe, Asene, Abola, Totublong, English, Alata, or Akamaje. It doesn't really matter. So once you mention your name, we know where you come from. So we'll be able to, amongst our people, you will see people celebrating together. In fact, the Christmas has come in at a good time, because whether I'm MPP or NDC, we all meet at Havana, we all meet at Clubhouse, we all meet at other places, enjoy ourselves together.
Have you met your main opponents?
Not yet. We planned, my campaign team and his campaign team planned to have one service together. We're waiting possibly after the handing over, and then we all will join us and then thank God together in one church, and thank God for the peace, and thank God for his own reconciliation. God himself reconciled the world unto himself through the sacrifice of his only son, Jesus Christ. So it is good that we also decide that in spite of our problems, we'll reconcile our differences and stay together as a family.
Away from that, former chief executive of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Dr. Joyce Ayi, has proposed a review of the continuation of the construction of the 200 new senior high schools being undertaken by the outgoing administration. Dr. Ayi explains, instead of focusing on adding new structures, the incoming administration should consider expanding infrastructure and augmenting the academic materials, as well as increasing the number and capacity of teachers at the existing schools. She admits, though the program is laudable, it will be much more beneficial if it is given a proper study and review to meet the required need. She spoke to Joy News' producer, MFA Ewena Matiamwa Eli, in an interview.
I think that we need to build schools to ensure that the children have not only places to study, but teaching and learning tools, teachers. You know, you have to focus on teachers, because it's not just the building and the children who will go into it. Have you prepared the teachers who would go and teach there? You know, so the issue of ensuring that teachers who said they had finished and they haven't been employed will be something that will be dealt with as we consider the importance of having more day secondary schools, and placing the day secondary schools within a kind of radii that would really make it possible for children to go there without the added logistics of always going to find a bus, going to find teachers who will live nearby. We really need to plan this properly. You know, so I think it's not.
You think they have not been delivering on that? Because I heard in their when they were touting their achievements, they made mention of recruitment of more teachers. They made mention of expanding more technical infrastructure, all of that, just to make these resources and tools available
they
for
have
smooth academic work.
They have to, you know, because, and the thing is that we may also realize that we can expand existing facilities. For example, I know Achimota School, you know, you can take in more day students, but you'll need to expand the facilities, more classrooms, more teachers, and so on. Accra Girls is centrally located. Accra Academy, centrally, located in such a way that beyond boarding you can create if you go to Cape Coast, there are a number of schools also, Adisadel, Infantsipim, you go to the eastern region, the Kukrentumi schools and so on. So there are existing schools that can be expanded to actually take in more day students without always building new ones. Of course, where the place is remote, you want to make sure that it's not just a day school you put there, because you also want to make the children able to stay in a place where access to classroom work, prep work, and so on, you know, facilities to study. Because if you're building around a village where electricity is a problem and so on, and you can do a boarding school where lights and so on will be there, the children will have a nighttime prep time. It is a lot easier than going back to their villages where they'll use candles and so on. Maybe they have to walk long distances and so on. So I think that we really need to do a significant study of the development landscape in Ghana and see where we can make learning at the second cycle level easily available.
You're watching the maiden edition of Joy News today for the year 2017 with me, Benis Abubedi. We'll take a first break. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying here on Joy News today. It's just a few days to the inauguration and the swearing in of President-elect Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and preparations are already underway at the Independence Square. And my colleague Hannah Odame was at the grounds and joins me with more. Hannah, 5 days to the time. I'm just wondering what at all could be happening there.
Well, 5 days is not too much for those who are preparing the place in terms of state protocol, cleaning and all of that. So when I went there, I thought things were a bit slow, but I was told that, well, today is just Monday and the event is on Saturday, so we should just slow down and we'll know that everything will be done on Saturday. Now, I saw the stages that were being built, you know, the metal ones, the huge metal ones that are being built for the presidents who are coming from other countries and other dignitaries will be sitting on. They are being built. One was constructed, it's going to be lifted up. I saw the Independence Arch being painted. Some renovations are ongoing there. I didn't see much on the stands though. A lot of the chairs are broken. I'm hoping they will be fixed before the day. I saw the rails were being painted because they are very rusty. And then I also saw some members of the state protocol who are on the ground ensuring that everything is put in place. The I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and everything. I saw some group, interesting. There was a group from the MPP, they call themselves a V16. It's a coalition of about 60 MPP core groups. They have come together to clean the place because according to them, the place doesn't look too clean for their incoming president. So they've been there since dawn, cleaning the place together with some members of Zoom Lion. And they also told me that they will be there every day to clean until Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really impressive.
That's their contribution.
That's really impressive. But
yeah.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for those updates. I'm sure that we'll keep visiting the place until the final inauguration and swearing in of President-elect Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Well, and you can be assured that right here on your Joy News channel, we'll bring you up-to-the-minute information on that particular event. Let's go back to that story where a member of parliament for Aguna East has sued an NDC supporter at the Aguna Swedru High Court for defamation. Now, according to the MP Queen Star Poku Asoya, the supporter stated emphatically on a WhatsApp chat group that she and the regional chairman of the party, Ben Aloti Jacobs, were given monies and other resources for the campaign in the central region, but the two failed to release the monies and resources for the campaign, hence the abysmal performance of the NDC in the central region. My colleague, Richard Kodonyako, joins me with more. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Benny.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you and happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, Richard. Now, who is the individual that Madam Sawyer is suing?
Well, the individual is a teacher, resident at in Sososu, Aguna Swedru, and his name is Julius Van Midday, and he is a member of the National Democratic Congress, and they belong to an Agunaman platform, and it's a social media chat platform, WhatsApp, and it contains about 200 members, and so they discuss issues that border on the forward movement of the Aguna area. Now, on the 11th day of December, Julius Van Midday is alleged to have written this statement, and I quote, "The monies that were given to the central region was shared among two people, the regional chairman and Madam Poku Asoya. They have done well. Clap for them. Shame, shame to them. We know everything." And according to Queen Poku Asoya, this thing has greatly injured her reputation and has brought her into some scandal, odium, and then some contempt. And because this one, defamation by its character, it reduces the person's reputation in the estimation of right-thinking members of the society. The plaintiff, Madam Poku Asoya, sues the defendant, Julius Van Midday, for libel to the tune of 50,000 Ghana cedis, and she's also placing an injunction on him to restrain him from further publication of these words on other social media networking sites.
All right, and so have you found out from her why she didn't probably look at other forms of settling this issue? Since it was amongst members of the NDC, did she try maybe an out-of-court settlement or some form of discussion before she went for the suit, or that's just what she opted for?
Well, according to Madam Poku Asoya, I spoke with her in the morning, and she says that, well, these things have been going on for quite a while, and there seems to be some faction that were targeting her, and so they wanted her to lose in the 2016 parliamentary elections. Some of them were paying money, and others were saying other nasty things about her.
Okay, so before filing this particular suit, did she or did the NDC in the area try to resolve this out of court?
Well, I've had none of these approaches. I mean, none of them has decided to settle the song.
And when is this case supposed to be heard, Richard?
Well, we do not know yet because when the case was filed on the 21st day of December, and the defendant caused an appearance to be entered for and on his behalf. And so what I know currently is that the lawyers for the defendants, they are preparing their defenses to meet Madam Pokuya Sawyer in court.
All right, but apart from this, has he been saying anything, the defendant, I mean?
Well, no, because he still insists that these publications were true. And so they have a defense, and that is truth. And so they are prepared to meet the plaintiff in court.
Right, thank you very much, Richard Kojo Nyako, for those updates. You're still watching Joy News today with me, Benis Abubedu. Business is right after this. Please don't go away. Thank you so much. That'll be it for international news on this edition of Joy News Today. Before we go, a quick recap of our headlines. Member of Parliament for Agona East, Madam Queensta Sawyer, has sued an NDC supporter for what she refers to as defamation in connection with the party's defeat in the just ended general election. And following tension in the Odododio constituency prior to the December election, which threatened the peace of the area, Member of Parliament for the area, Neelante Vanderpoy, says the two political parties involved in those skirmishes will be holding a joint Thanksgiving service to maintain the peace in the area. And former Chief Executive of Ghana Chamber of Mines and now Executive Director of the Salt and Light Ministries, Dr. Joyce Ayi, calls for a review of the construction of the Free Community Day Senior High Schools currently underway by the outgoing administration. And in sports, Avram Grant is named provisional 26-man squad for Gabon 2017. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is Joy News on TV for the latest news updates. From the entire team, we wish you a very happy new year. Thank you for your company.